One interview I get asked about a lot is the interview I did with Ronnie James Dio at his house in Los Angeles in 2004 for our first film, Metal Headbanger's Journey.
For decades, heavy metal legend Ronnie James Dio was hailed as a vocal powerhouse and a master of the dark arts. Dio's odyssey transcended music, unfolding as a testament to his unyielding spirit. With unwavering determination, he defied destiny, forged his own path, and etched an indelible mark on the hearts of millions. But behind the iconic voice and devilish horns, a secret lurked. So, what did Dio finally admit after years of speculation and rumors? Will the answer change everything? It took him long enough, but at 67, James Dio finally admitted what we knew all along: a major oversight. In the history of metal, there are good singers, and then there are legendary vocalists who are identifiable with the first note of a song. Dio's operatic vibrato was unmistakable and extremely versatile. His was a voice that could soothe like a soul crooner 1 minute and roar like a vengeful tyrant the next. Even when he was embellishing tunes with melodic interjections, he loomed high above most vocalists of his era, even though he stood at just about 5 feet 4 inches tall. Behind the spotlight, Dio was a humble and kind soul, dedicated to his craft with a perfectionist zeal. Despite his perfectionist nature, Dio made one major mistake. The most tragic thing about Ronnie James Dio's death from metastasized stomach cancer in 2010 is that it likely could have been prevented. Dio, the man whose commanding voice will live forever in metal history, was 67 when he died, and he had not been tested for stomach or colorectal cancer in at least 10 years, even though he was strongly advised to do so. Geezer Butler, Dio's bandmate in Heaven and Hell and Black Sabbath, reflected on Dio's tragic passing. In a candid and yet sad tone, he revealed that all the doctors concurred that if Dio had undergone a colonoscopy a year or two earlier, they could have treated his cancer. Early detection would have made a significant difference, as stage 1 cancer would have been manageable. Unfortunately, by the time Dio received his diagnosis, his cancer had progressed to stage 4, rendering it inoperable. The doctor's prognosis was bleak, hinting that time was running out and there were no viable treatment options. This devastating outcome serves as a poignant reminder of the importance of regular checkups and early detection, a lesson that Butler hopes will encourage others to prioritize their health. Dio, who was suffering from abdominal discomfort, saw a doctor in the winter of 2009, and after a series of tests, he was diagnosed with cancer. He immediately began an aggressive form of chemotherapy at MD Anderson Clinic in Houston, Texas. In a bleak black carpet interview with Artisan News Service, Dio finally admitted what we knew all along. He candidly discussed his difficult experience undergoing chemotherapy. He revealed that the process was a roller coaster of emotions, with moments of feeling both good and bad. Dio confessed that he had underestimated the difficulty of chemotherapy, describing it as a long and challenging ordeal. As the treatments accumulated, he found it increasingly harder to recover, and eating became a significant struggle. Despite these hardships, Dio remained resolute and optimistic, convinced that he would emerge victorious in his battle against cancer. As the metal world held its collective breath, Ronnie James Dio issued a beacon of hope on May 4th, his statement shining like a ray of light in the darkness. With unwavering optimism, he expressed his heartfelt gratitude to fans, assuring them that their love and support would propel him forward, fueling a future filled with music, magic, and triumphant tours. But fate, it seemed, had other plans. Just 12 fleeting days later, on May 16th, the heavy metal community was dealt a crushing blow. Wendy Dio, Ronnie's devoted wife and manager, confirmed the devastating news. The legendary vocalist had succumbed to his courageous battle with cancer, leaving behind a legacy that would continue to inspire and empower generations to come. While the glittering journey might have ended in crunching disappointment, Dio's story is far more than the final blow that took his breath away. So, where did this legendary journey all start from? Let's find out. A distinct beginning. In the quaint town of Portsmouth, New Hampshire, a musical legend was born. Ronnie James Dio, the iconic voice of heavy metal, entered the world on July 10, 1942, to Italian-American parents Patrick and Anna. His father's service in the United States' Army during World War II led the family to Portsmouth, but their stay was short-lived. They soon returned to Cortland, New York, a place that would become the foundation of Dio's formative years. Growing up in Cortland, Dio was surrounded by the sounds of opera, which would later influence his powerful vocals. He was particularly drawn to the voice of American tenor Mario Lanza, whose operatic style would shape Dio's own singing technique. At the tender age of 5, Dio began his musical journey, learning to play the trumpet. This early introduction to music would pave the way for a lifetime of creative expression. As Dio navigated the halls of Cortland High School, he discovered his passion for rock and roll. He formed his first band, the Vegas Kings, which would undergo several name changes, eventually becoming Ronnie and the Rumblers, and then Ronnie and the Redcaps. During this time, Dio expanded his musical skills, adding singing and bass guitar to his repertoire. His dedication to music was evident, even in his teenage years. After graduating from Cortland High School in 1960, Dio was presented with a remarkable opportunity, a scholarship to the prestigious Juilliard School of Music. However, his heart belonged to rock music, and he declined the offer. Instead, he enrolled at the University at Buffalo, where he majored in pharmacology. Though his time at the university was short-lived, Dio continued to nurture his musical talents, playing trumpet in the university's concert band. Dio's academic pursuits took him to Cortland State College, but he eventually dropped out. In an interview in the year 2000, he revealed that he had majored in history and minored in English. Despite his lack of formal vocal training, Dio's singing voice became one of the most recognizable and revered in heavy metal. He attributed his vocal prowess to the breathing techniques he learned while playing trumpet. So, how did Dio's musical journey unfold? Let's delve into that. The Vegas Kings. In the year 1957, a young Ronnie James Dio embarked on his journey to become a heavy metal legend. It was in Cortland, New York, that Dio joined forces with a group of talented musicians to form the Vegas Kings. The band's original lineup featured Dio on bass guitar, Billy DeWolf on lead vocals, Nick Pantis on guitar, Tom Rogers on drums, and Jack Musgrove on saxophone. As the band's sound evolved, so did their name, first to Ronnie and the Rumblers, and then to Ronnie and the Redcaps. In 1958, the Redcaps released their first single, Conquest and Lover, showcasing Dio's emerging talent. The A-side, an instrumental track reminiscent of the Ventures, highlighted the band's musical versatility. The B-side, featuring D. Wolf on lead vocals, demonstrated the group's ability to craft catchy, memorable songs. Their second single, An Angel Is Missing and What Did I Say?, marked a significant milestone for Dio as he took center stage on lead vocals for both tracks. The origin of Dio's stage name has been the subject of much speculation. According to one account, his grandmother proclaimed that he had a gift from God and should be called Dio, which translates to God in Italian. However, this claim was disputed by Dio's widow, Wendy, in a 2017 interview. Another theory suggests that Dio adopted his stage name as a reference to the infamous mafia member Johnny Dio, which was confirmed in his autobiography. As the Redcaps continued to perform and record music, Dio began using his new stage name on their releases. In 1960, the band modified its name to Ronnie Dio and the Prophets, marking the beginning of a new era in Dio's musical journey. The Prophets lineup would go on to tour extensively throughout New York, performing at college fraternity parties and producing several singles, including one for Atlantic Records. Dio's creative output continued to flourish, with the Prophets releasing several singles until early 1967. Although the band's name had changed, Dio still credited his birth name on songwriting credits for those releases. In late 1967, Ronnie Dio and the Prophets underwent another transformation, emerging as the Electric Elves with the addition of a keyboard player. Tragedy struck in February 1968, when the Electric Elves were involved in a devastating car accident that claimed the life of guitarist Nick Pantis and hospitalized Dio and the other band members. In the aftermath of this tragedy, the group shortened its name to the Elves and continued to perform and record music. By mid-1972, the band had released its first proper album under the name Elf, marking a significant milestone in Dio's career. As Elf gained momentum, they became a regular opening act for Deep Purple, further solidifying Dio's reputation as a talented vocalist. Over the next few years, Elf recorded 3 albums, with Dio's distinctive voice and style taking center stage. The band's eventual involvement in recording the first Rainbow album in early 1975 would ultimately lead to Elf's disbandment, but Dio's musical legacy was only just beginning to unfold. So, how did the music legend move on from a phase that's filled with success, transition, and tragedy? Let's find out. Dio's vocals caught the ear of Ritchie Blackmore. In the midst of the 1970s, Ronnie James Dio's powerful vocals caught the attention of Deep Purple's guitarist Ritchie Blackmore. Blackmore, disillusioned with Deep Purple's new direction, was seeking a fresh start. He extended an invitation to Dio, along with Gary Driscoll, to record 2 songs in Tampa, Florida, on December 12, 1974. This chance encounter would prove to be the catalyst for a new era in Dio's career. Blackmore, reflecting on that pivotal moment, revealed, "I left Deep Purple because I'd met up with Ronnie Dio and he was so easy to work with. He was originally just going to do 1 track of a solo LP, but we ended up doing the whole LP in 3 weeks, which I was very excited about." The chemistry between Blackmore and Dio was undeniable, and the seeds of a legendary partnership were sown. The fruits of their labor, Ritchie Blackmore's Rainbow, emerged in early 1975. This self-titled debut album marked the beginning of a remarkable journey, with Dio's distinctive vocals and Blackmore's masterful guitar work forging a unique sound. Over the next few years, Dio and Blackmore collaborated on 2 more studio albums, Rising and Long Live Rock and Roll, as well as the live album On Stage, and 2 archival live albums. However, creative differences eventually drove a wedge between Dio and Blackmore. As Blackmore steered the band toward a more commercial direction, Dio departed, making way for Graham Bonnet to take the reins. The album Down to Earth, released in 1979, marked a new chapter for Rainbow, but Dio's tenure with the band had come to an end. Fate, however, had other plans for Dio. A chance encounter with Tony Iommi at the Rainbow on Sunset Strip in Los Angeles in 1979 set the stage for a new collaboration. Iommi, seeking a vocalist to replace the departed Ozzy Osbourne, found an instant connection with Dio. As they jammed together, the chemistry was palpable and the seeds of a legendary partnership were sown. Their first work together, the Heaven and Hell album, emerged in 1980. This iconic album, featuring Dio's soaring vocals and Iommi's masterful guitar work, redefined the sound of Black Sabbath. The follow-up album, Mob Rules, solidified Dio's position as the band's vocalist, but tensions began to simmer beneath the surface. Personality conflicts and creative differences eventually boiled over, culminating in a dispute over the mixing of the Live Evil album. Iommi and Dio's differing visions for the band's sound led to a rift, and in 1982, Dio and drummer Vinny Appice departed Black Sabbath. Nearly a decade later, Dio returned to Black Sabbath to record the Dehumanizer album, released in 1991. Although the album achieved moderate success, the reunion was short-lived. Dio and Appice once again left the band, citing an inability to work with Iommi and Butler. It's just another journey for Dio. In the aftermath of his departure from Black Sabbath, Ronnie James Dio embarked on a new musical odyssey, driven by his unwavering passion for heavy metal. In 1982, Dio joined forces with drummer Vinnie Appice, guitarist Vivian Campbell, and bassist Jimmy Bain to form the iconic band Dio. This formidable lineup would go on to create some of the most enduring and beloved metal anthems of all time. Their 1983 debut album, Holy Diver, was a masterclass in heavy metal storytelling, with Dio's soaring vocals and poignant lyrics weaving a rich tapestry of sound. The album's hit singles, Rainbow in the Dark and Holy Diver, remain the band's signature songs to this day, testifying to the enduring power of Dio's creative vision. As the band's popularity soared, they expanded their lineup to include keyboardist Claude Schnell. This new configuration yielded 2 more full-length studio albums, The Last in Line and Sacred Heart. A 1984 live recording, a special from the Spectrum, captured the band's electrifying stage presence, showcasing their ability to translate their studio sound into a thrilling live experience. Throughout the years, Dio underwent various lineup changes, with Ronnie James Dio remaining the sole constant. Despite these changes, the band continued to tour and record, releasing a total of 10 albums, including the final studio effort, Master of the Moon, in 2004. In 2006, Dio reunited with his former Black Sabbath bandmates Tony Iommi, Geezer Butler, and Vinnie Appice to form Heaven and Hell, a moniker inspired by the title of the first Dio-era Black Sabbath album. This new configuration allowed the band to revisit their classic material while also exploring new creative avenues. Heaven and Hell released one critically acclaimed album, The Devil You Know, in 2009. The band's 98 Days World Tour in 2008 was a testament to their enduring appeal and the timeless power of their music. Though the band had planned to release a follow-up album in 2010, fate had other plans, and the world was robbed of the opportunity to experience more of Heaven and Hell's magic. Ronnie James Dio's boundless talent. In the years leading up to his passing, Dio explored new creative avenues. He lent his voice to the character of Dr. X in Queensryche's Operation Mindcrime 2. In 2005, and made appearances in various films and documentaries. Dio's autobiography, Rainbow in the Dark, the autobiography, was completed by his wife Wendy Dio and Mick Wall, offering an intimate glimpse into the life and career of this beloved metal legend. Their documentary, Dio Dreamers Never Die, that was released in 2022, further celebrated Dio's enduring legacy, featuring interviews, archival footage, and a testament to the profound impact of his music on fans worldwide. Ronnie James Dio's boundless talent, generosity, and dedication to his craft have left an indelible mark on the world of rock music. As a vocalist, songwriter, and performer, Dio inspired generations of musicians and fans. His illustrious career spanned over 5 decades, leaving an indelible mark on the world of rock music. As the 21st century unfolded, Dio received a plethora of distinctions and awards, celebrating his enduring legacy. In 2004, Dio was inducted into the Cortland City Hall of Fame, and a street in his hometown was renamed Dio Way in his honor. Classic Rock magazine bestowed upon him the Metal Guru Award at their annual Roll of Honor awards ceremony in 2006. On January 17, 2007, Dio's name was immortalized on Guitar Center's Rock Walk of Fame in Hollywood. The Revolver Golden Gods Awards recognized Dio as the Best Metal Singer in April 2010 for his work on The Devil You Know, making him the oldest recipient of this award at 67. This momentous occasion marked his final public appearance, a testament to his unwavering dedication to his craft. Dio's passing did not diminish his impact on the music world. The main stage of Bloodstock Open Air was renamed in his honor, as was the main stage of the Masters of Rock Festival. A monument dedicated to Dio was unveiled in Kavarna, Bulgaria, serving as a poignant reminder of his enduring influence. The Mexican metal festival, Hell in Heaven, was named in tribute to Dio, with organizers praising him as the greatest singer and person we ever had worked with, a really humble person. Rolling Stone magazine eulogized Dio, highlighting his raging compassion for the lost rock and roll children in his audience, and his ability to assure fans that they weren't alone in their suffering, and someday they might even be proud of conquering it. In 2023, Rolling Stone ranked Dio at number 165 on its list of the 200 greatest singers of all time, solidifying his position as one of the most revered vocalists in rock history. On July 10, 2011, Dio's hometown of Carlin, New York, celebrated his birthday with a day-long event featuring local bands and talent. The proceeds from this benefit concert supported the Stand Up and Shout Cancer Foundation and funded a memorial music scholarship in Dio's name. The tribute album, Ronnie James Dio, This Is Your Life, was released on March 31, 2014, with proceeds benefiting the Ronnie James Dio Stand Up and Shout Cancer Fund. This heartfelt tribute featured contributions from various artists, celebrating Dio's enduring legacy. In 2016, a hologram of Dio made its live debut at the Wacken Open Air Festival, allowing fans to experience his iconic stage presence once more. A subsequent world tour featuring the hologram commenced on December 6, 2017, in Bochum, Germany. Dio's impact on popular culture extends beyond the realm of music. The main villain in the manga and anime series JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Dio Brando, was named in part after the legendary vocalist. In the 4th season of the television series Stranger Things, character Eddie Munson wears a denim vest featuring the artwork from Dio's The Last in Line, introducing Dio's iconic imagery to a new generation of fans. As Dio once remarked, "I guess if I've left any kind of legacy, it's been heaven and hell and a lot of rainbow rising." His legacy, however, extends far beyond these iconic albums, inspiring countless musicians and fans worldwide with his boundless talent, generosity, and dedication to his craft. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Also, check out another interesting video by clicking on the video shown on your screen. See you on the other side.